The large main room did much the same. Having chosen where they would bed down for the night, they whiled away the evening with chores and soft talk until they felt the need for sleep. Wrapped in this safe quiet, Jennet found it easy to forget that these men were the enemy, that they had arrived just hours ago with swords in hand to kill and loot. She had to be careful to remember that, and remember it well.
"Why are ye here, Jennet of Liddesdale?"
Hacon asked. She looked back at him, watched his finely drawn brow arc slightly in a question, and sighed. It would probably not hurt to tell her story. Revealing how she had already suffered at the hands of the Bruce's army might soften him toward her and allow her to escape, or to talk him into setting aside his plans for her. The chance was slim, but he might feel sufficient mercy to decide she had suffered enough in her life.
"I have been here for many years."
"But you are a Scot. Why are ye in an English stronghold?"
"Many here are Scots. 'Tis in Scotland, after all. I lived here with an English couple ere I went to the nunnery a year ago."
"The daughter of a Graeme and an Armstrong abiding with the English?"
"I was the maid of the lady of the house, her handmaiden."
And all else, she mused with a touch of resentment.
"Did none of your kin take you in? Couldn't they find some Scottish lady for you to serve?"
Those were hard questions. Under certain circumstances, answering them could be very hurtful to her. She could not, however, see any evil intention in his expression, and sighed. In this war, treachery stood at every turn. Not every Scot welcomed Bruce as his king or wished an end to England's rule. Hacon was probably testing to see if she was just as she appeared, a victim, someone swept up in the war, or a traitor. Any Scot caught in an English stronghold was suspect. She had seen the grisly proof of that merciless attitude when her mother was murdered, and then later when Scots brutally massacred fellow Scotsmen at Perth.
"My parents never meant for me to be some lady's servant," she explained. "I was but 9 when the Bruce's soldiers raided my mother's village and murdered her. Later I was at Perth when the Bruce took it from the English. My father had brought us there. He guessed how it would be if Perth fell. He paid the de Tournays to claim me as theirs. I was allowed to leave with them when the Bruce declared all well-born Scots in Perth traitors and put them to the sword."
"And your father?"
Hacon felt a twinge of guilt, for he too had been at Perth. It was yet another part of the war he had disagreed with, but had been unable to stop. Denouncing one of the Bruce's actions openly was a swift way to mark oneself a traitor. He was his family's only hope to regain all that they had lost. He could not afford to throw his life away fruitlessly protesting injustices.
Jennet shrugged. "I didn't see my father killed, nor have I ever gotten word that he was amongst those slain. Howbeit, I have seen naught of him since that day. I can only assume he fell at Perth."
Leaning forward, Hacon murmured,
"If he fought for the English, took their side against the Bruce."
She smiled crookedly.
"My father ne'er took sides. He fought for whomever paid him the highest sum."
She shook her head.
"He thought me safe with the de Tournays. I thought myself safe with the Holy Sisters. Now I am hostage to thieves."
"Thieves, are we?"
"Well, I didn't see ye buy that pile of bounty upon the table. Aye, ye're thieves."
"You're a fair one to toss that name about so scornfully. The Graemes are well known as thieves, leastwise those who wander the hard land between the Esk and Sark rivers. Aye, and the Armstrongs of Liddesdale can claim that name as well, becoming cursed ravers. There are many who say the whole town should be hanged. You carry the blood of both."
Every word of that was true. Over the years, she had found that fact increasingly hard to bear. In the de Tournay household, she had always been the first one suspected if anything went missing. She had her excuses and arguments ready, well honed from years of use.
"And what else may my people do to survive when nearly every year some army tramples o'er their lands, burning and looting? Their lands are a constant battlefield. If it isna the English, 'tis the Scots. They see more blackened fields than harvests. They feed more armies than their own people. Aye, they were thieves, both my father and mother," she continued. "Aye, and their kin still are. Howbeit, they dinna try to dress it in pretty words such as freeing Scotland from the English yoke, and they dinna call themselves knights or lords of the realm. They dinna wave some king's banner or carry holy relics. Nay, nor do they call it rightful plunder. They are avers, pure and simple. 'Tis all the chivalrous and the knightly have left them."
Hacon sat